הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hamoed Tov, Chag Sameach. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to come into your home so we can celebrate Shabbat, and in this case, Shabbat and Sukkot together. And time to welcome the team. Good morning, Leslie. Shabbat
Boker
Shalom.
Or, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach, everyone.
How are you doing?
I'm great. It's so funny. It's been such a busy time with all of the holidays, but I love each one, you know? And it's been just wonderful being here with the team this week, celebrating Sukkot, shaking a lulav and etrog. Of course, we're going to give them a break today, but we'll be back tomorrow morning if you haven't had a chance to see Sukkot in action at services yet this week. And there's more coming, more chagim on the way.
We don't shake them today. The fruit flies are going to have a feast because we don't touch them. Hi, Tali.
Boker Tov, Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome.
Shalom.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Nice to hear your voice for the Hine Ma Tov.
I'm getting better with the microphone.
Little by little. Very good. Very good. I've noticed that Marvin gave you a little pep talk. So
He gives me notes.
he's a good coach. He's a good coach. Hello, Bill Weissman.
Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. By the way, the fruit flies will not get near our lulav netrox because they are locked in the fridge.
Yeah, and I've noticed also that we have traps in the building for the
We
fruit
do.
flies. We caught like 2.
Um,
I've noticed. Yeah. And the one and only Marvin Polanski, audiovisual director. One day he's going to show himself. He has cameras for every single person here except for himself. We have to talk, Marvin. And so we also welcome Cindy Singer. She's already here. She's going to read Torah later, right? Welcome. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach. So this is, it's great. The whole team is here. And that reminds me to a phrase from Hillel. Remember the famous Hillel and Shammai from the times of the Talmud? He said a phrase about Sukkot. Sukkot, in Talmudic times, they have these other holidays that it will overlap with Sukkot that is called Simchat Beit HaShoeva. And it was a big celebration in Jerusalem. In fact, the Talmud says that if you didn't experience the joy of Simchat Beit HaToeva, you never, ever in your life experience any joy. So it's supposed to be something spectacular, okay? And Hillel says, Imani kan, akol kan. He said, if I'm here, everybody's here. And if I'm not here, nobody's here. Which seems to be a bold statement for such a humble man like Hillel. He was famous for being humble and said, if I'm here, everybody's here. And if I'm not here, nobody's here, right? It reminds me to, have you ever heard the story, what was his name, Rockefeller, David Rockefeller? That he didn't wear a watch. You know that? He didn't wear a watch. Because what does he need a watch? Because no meeting will start until he shows up. So he didn't need a watch. So what was Hillel saying? Well, actually, the rabbi said it's all the opposite. Because only a person that was humble like Hillel can say something like that and make sense during this time of the year. And what he was saying is, if me, the most humble person, could say something like that, if I'm not here, nobody's here, it means that each one is special. Each one is important, and each one has something to bring, not only to Sukkot, not only to the synagogue, but to the world. So if you are not there playing your part, then we can't really celebrate Sukkot to the fullest. So we really appreciate each one of you, and we truly believe that if you are not there, nobody's there. So we want to celebrate you and appreciate your presence, and I hope you will stay with us for the entire service so we can truly all do this together. Well, again, good morning, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, 3 beautiful things happening this morning. And it's also the Shabbat Chol Hamoed Sukkot is special. You know that there is a special book that we read today. Do you know that, guys? There is a special book we read today. It's from the Tanakh. Want to try to guess which one it is? No? Kohelet, the Ecclesiastes. It's a book that we read in Sukkot. It's kind of funny because Sukkot is supposed to be the most joyous festival of the year, and Kohelet, the Ecclesiastes, is the most depressing book in the Bible. So why we read it in Sukkot? Stay tuned. I'm going to talk about that during the sermon. Just a hint that that's the book that we're reading on Shabbat, Chol Hamoed Sukkot. So if you have time at home, if you have a Bible, read the book of Kohelet. It's very interesting, very interesting. It was written by King Solomon. So I hope you have a chance to read that one. Let's begin with our service. Let's turn to page 5. And please rise for the morning blessing, the Birkot HaShachar.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasek vivina levchim ben yom uben layla.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani betzamo.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chori.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, bisharumim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, atir asurim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Amen. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai.
Page 6.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roch haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa likwot tzorki.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael v'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten layav koach.
Amen. One more time.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai.
And please remain standing as we continue with Baruch She'amar, page 7.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh bereshit, Baruch omer ve'oseh, Baruch ozer u'mekayem, Baruch merachem al ha'aretz, Baruch merachem al ha'beriot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov liream, Baruch chaylan v'kayam lanetzach, Baruch podeh u'matzil, Baruch shemo la ilaha illa la 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 la
And you may be seated. As we continue now on page 8, let's praise together the name of God with Psalm 150. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 el bekocho, hallelujah, bekiyahuzo, hallelujah, bigevurotav, hallelujah, kerov gudlo. Hallelujah, 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 beteka shofar, hallelujah, beneva v'chinor, hallelujah, betofu machol, hallelujah, beminim ve'ugav.
Let's read together.
Hallelujah, 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 betiltei shama, hallelujah, betiltei trua, kol anshama tehallelujah, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. That's such an uplifting melody, Rabbi. Thank you for including it this morning. It really fits the time. We are in the season of the Chagim, and we are making our way through Sukkot, working our way towards Hoshana Rabbah, and of course next week, Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah.
Now we have the Mourner's Kaddish.
We
We
do.
can read a little bit of the chat to make a break between the
I think so.
upbeat song.
I think that fits. I'd like to welcome, if you posted beforehand, and I'm sorry I can't see you, but I welcome you here this morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Hannon Bell this morning. It's so good to see you. Melanie Richters with Ryan and Sarah. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Yehuda Cherney, Sandy Polanski, Phyllis Laveman, Murray Nazen and Sharon Nazen, Priscilla Kerr, Judy Chirac, Eric Green. Shabbat Shalom from the shul all the way to the lake. It's so nice to know you're out in nature, enjoying the beautiful weather we've been having. Hopefully today warms up a bit too. Welcome and Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach to Maggie H. from Texas. Welcome here. Alina Lashev and Fanny. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. Terry, Roberto Franco, Earl Barish, Andrea Aroyave, Leon Pinkovich, Jerome Foman, Alice Weisman, Zelda Elkin, Marcella Alicia Ahumada Munita. Welcome here in Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to Bonnie Cham, David Wilder, Jesseline Legoff, Shelley Chachanov, Beverly Zatzer, and Josue Selva, Carlos Valerio, and Corey Glassberg, and Amy Karlinski. Good Shabbos to you all, and welcome here this morning. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, Amy. Amy Karlinski is here among us. She's going to read Torah later. So that's why you don't see her in the chat. It doesn't mean anything, actually. I know when Bonnie Robinson comes, all of a sudden, she's here in the sanctuary, and then I read the messages on the chat.
That's the virtual Bonnie Robinson that's here.
Yeah, it reminds me once I used to work for a company in Argentina. I was studying and working at the same time. I can't remember which kind of office I have to go to get some information for the company, but I had to go there in person. It was taking forever. And I noticed that people were calling, and whoever was calling would get information right away. And I had to be in line there forever. So you know what I did? I picked up my cell phone. I called. They gave me the information, and I left. Sometimes there are better ways to convey your message, right? Than trying to yell from the pews. Just use the cell phone and we can read it here. So, yeah.
We're going to continue now on page 46 with the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourners and those observing Yahrzeit, let's join together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon v'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudeshav brichu. La'ela min kol birchatav shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
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 Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to turn now to page 10. Shochenad Maharon Vekadosh Shemo
Shochan al marom v'kadosh shemo.
Bev Yesharim Titalal Uvedivrei Tzadikim Titbarach Uvilshon Chasidim Titromam Uvekerev Kedoshim Titkadash יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יש מרבה מבורך
לעולם עולם מעלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי וקודשה
בריחו
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא והימרו 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 אמן.
Please rise as we continue with a special version of the Barhu in the bottom of page 11. This is our opportunity to bless the name of God, the source of all blessing.
Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu, dear one,
Shekinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu,
dear one, Shekinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu,
dear one,
Shekinah,
holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorech choshech oseh shalom uvorech et hakol.
you may be seated.
I always love that prayer and the discussion of light and darkness and the interplay of both. There are certain times of the year where you really notice the light and the darkness changing in the sky, depending what time you wake up or what time you go to bed. Usually in Winnipeg, we're already kind of seeing that shift as sunset is getting earlier. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful prayer and observation. Rabbi Anibal.
Are we continuing now with the Shema Israel?
I think we are. Are we going to do the peak?
We are going to do a special version of the Shema Israel. Remember I tell you at the beginning what Hillel said, Manikana Kol Kan, if I'm here, everyone is here. Well, there is another theory that actually what he meant is that he was talking about God. If I'm here, everybody's here. If I'm not here, nobody's here. In other words, what he was saying is when he looked at this big celebration during Sukkot, and lots of joy, lots of dancing, probably lots of drinking, and who knows what else. What basically said, okay, guys, that's all good, but if God is not here, this is all empty, right? So this is the time of the service where we realize that, yes, we have music, yes, we have fun, we have the chat, we talk to each other, but if God is not here, there is something big missing. And that is the idea of the Shema Israel. When we recognize that, oh yeah, God is here, and these are not songs, these are prayers, and this is not a show, it's a spiritual experience, and we say out loud that Adonai is our God, and Adonai is one. And if God is here, now everybody's here. Shema Israel, page 14.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרת מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Please continue silently with the recitation of the Shema Israel, Hebrew or English.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Hamoed.
We turn now to page 17 for the Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eled. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eled. Shira chadasha, shibchu geolim l'shimcha, al shvatayam yachad kulam, oduvim lichu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eled.
Please rise.
Tzur Yisrael, Buma Bezrat Yisrael, Ufedechinu Mecha Yehuda veYisrael, Bo Aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eled. Baruch atah Adonai, Yisrael.
Please remain standing as we continue now with the Amidah. Today it's Shabbat and it's also Sukkot, but it's Hamoed Sukkot. So we are going to begin on page 18 and then we continue like the traditional Shabbat Amidah, except that we have to add a couple of things that they are specific for Hamoed Sukkot. You will notice in the Siddur, it's in a gray box. I mentioned Siddur, but I didn't mention which Siddur. If you don't have a copy of the Siddur, please visit www.szwinnipeg.ca/book. Again, szwinnipeg.ca/book. If you are tuning in from the United States, szwinnipeg.ca/book. And there you will find the PDF of the Siddur that we are using, so you can follow along. And you can become a participator, not just a spectator. So it's always a good thing. Page 18.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot, U'mevii Goel Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayem Metim Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mashiva Morid Atah.
Not yet.
I
Couple
almost
more
jumped
days.
ahead. מחכה חיים וחסד מחיי מתים ורחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך מלך באמת ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב ביד נביאך וקרא זלזל ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך הארץ כבודו אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מתנסים לעומת שרפים לעומתה ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו ממקומך מלכנו מלכנו תופיע תמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך מתי 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 תמלוך בציון בקרוב בקרוב בימינו לעולם העת תשכון תתקדש ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים לדור ודור לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים ועינינו תראנה תראנה מלכותך כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך על ידי דוד משיח צדקך על ידי דוד משיח צדקך ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש לדור ודור נגיד גודלך לדור ודור נגיד גודלך לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ברוך אתה אדוני האל
Please continue silently, Hebrew, English, or your own words of prayer. Remember to incorporate the sections for Sukkot.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Yashar Kochech, Leslie.
Baruch
Beautiful
Yeh.
davening this morning. And it's just the beginning because we have something very special now.
We do. It's not just Shabbat, it is Sukkot. And so we have an extra part of the service, we have a Hallel, and a Hallel is always, hopefully, a joyful experience. We're going to turn now to page 29 and invite Tali to open the Aron HaKodesh for us all. And please, you're invited to rise wherever you may be. I'm going to start with the blessing on page 29. And traditionally, the congregation would respond. So please, I invite you to respond as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likrot ha'alel.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav likrot ha'alel.
Hallelujah, 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 Adonai, hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach, ve'ata ve'ad olam, ממזרח שמש עד מבוא, מהולה שם אדוני. הללויה, 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 הללויה. רמה כל גויים אדוני, על השמיים כבודו, מכאן אדוני אלוהינו, המקביל לשבת, המשפילים לראות בשמיים ובארץ. הללויה, 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 הללויה. מקימים מעפר דל, מאשפות ירים אביון, להושיב עם נדיבים עמו, מושיבי עקרת הבית, הם הבנים שמחה. הללויה, 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 הללויה. Page 30, Psalm 115. Adonai zecharanu yevarech, yevarech et Beit Yisrael, yevarech et Beit Aharon, yevarech yirei Adonai, הקטנים עם הגדולים, יוסף אדוני עליכם, עליכם והבניכם, ברוכים אתם אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ, השמיים שמיים לאדוני, לארץ נתן לבני אדם, לא המתים יהללויה, ולא כל ירדי דומה, ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. We're on page 31 for the closing blessing. כי לך טוב להודות ולשמך נאה לזמר, כי מעולם ועד עולם אתה האל. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מעולם בתשבחות.
'Amen.
if you've never experienced Sukkot at Shul before, not on a Shabbat morning, you're welcome to tune in. Tomorrow morning, we actually have a bar mitzvah here at 9 a.m. But there are things we do at Shul over Sukkot that I had no idea that we did until I was at Shul on Sukkot in my early 20s. And it's a very amazing, cool experience to witness and to be a part of. At this part of the service tomorrow, the lulavs and the etrogs will be out. There are processions that happen. I don't know if you've ever seen them or taken part in one. There is shaking. And if you're curious, you can join us again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But now it is Shabbat morning, so we are going etrog and lulav free.
It's a symbolic Hoshana, this Shabbat. Yes, we still open the ark, but we don't shake the lulav and etrog. The whole idea is because there is a prohibition of carrying on Shabbat. In Shabbat, you can't carry anything from your home to shul, from your shul to home, unless, of course, you have an eruv in the city, which we do have in Winnipeg, but nevertheless, to avoid any confusions, the rabbis added a couple of restrictions. Number one, you don't carry your lulav and etrog on Sukkot. So I said, you know what, maybe somebody will forget that you're not supposed to carry it, they will bring it anyway, so let's do it that nobody, eruv, no eruv, nobody carries the lulav and etrog. So there is no lulav and etrog on Shabbat. The second one, you may be familiar, is with a shofar on Rosh Hashanah. If Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbat also, we don't have a shofar. Why? Same reason. What if somebody forgets? Because technically, if you bring it to shul before Shabbat, then you can do it. But to avoid confusions, the rabbis decided to go the easy way. So no shofar on Shabbat, Rosh Hashanah, and no lulav and etrog on Shabbat, Sukkot. But it's still a great thing. It's a special day of Sukkot within Sukkot, the Shabbat, Chol, Hamoed, Sukkot. And we have this Hoshana, lulav less. Page 31.
Hoshana leman Eloheinu.
Let's repeat. Hoshana.
Hoshana leman Chaboreinu.
Hoshana.
Hoshana leman Chagohaleinu.
Hoshana.
Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nachalatecha. Urem, 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 urem venasem ad haolam. Urem, 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 urem venasem ad haolam.
And the ark is closed. As we continue now with the Kaddish Shalom, page 32. You may be seated.
Yitkara v'yitkara Shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Lehamad yivrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chay lekol Beit Yisrael b'galav v'zman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba mevorach lehalam le'amei hamaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitram v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Nekudesha
Brichu.
Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechmata damiram b'ama v'yimeru. Amen. Tikavel tzolta nuvaotel da kol Yisrael kadam avon divishmaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Aseh shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen.
I hope you enjoy your seat because you have to stand once again for the Torah service. Page 33. Vayivin Soa Aharon.
Vayehi bintu Aaron, vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, eyafutzu oivecha, eyanusu besanecha mipanecha, ki mitzion tetze Torah. Udevar Adonai Mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Gadol Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Gadol Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai iti uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula ve'hagevura ve'atiferet ve'anetzach ve'ahod. Kicho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, kicho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha ve'hamitnaseh lechol rosh. Romemu,
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 Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, L'adom raglav kadoshu. Romemu,
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 Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, Lehar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. You can be seated.
as we begin with the special reading that we have with, basically, we don't read the normal Shabbat readings for this Shabbat because it's Chol Hamoed Sukkot, so it would be going to be specific to the festival of Sukkot, which make it even interesting because there is one parsha that it will be a natural fit for this Shabbat, which is Vezot Havracha, which is the last parsha of the Torah. I don't know if you noticed that Vezot Havracha is never read on Shabbat morning. It's mind-blowing. So some people that they have the tradition to come for Shabbat morning, but they never came for the holidays, they never heard in their lives the Vezot Havracha, the last parsha of the Torah. Why we don't read it on Shabbat? Because we reserve it for Simchat Torah, the day where we wrap up the Torah, and then we switch books and we go back to Genesis, back to the creation of the world. And yeah, so if you want to hear the last bit of the Torah, you have to tune in for the Simchat Torah celebration that we have on Tuesday at 7, right?
Absolutely.
It is at 7.
It is at 7.
Okay.
You're doing good.
I just want to be sure.
And if
not
you'd
to
like more details,
double
you can
book.
find them on the website for sure, or on our Facebook page, or also ask. But we do have a special tour of the Torah scroll in store for you, some hakafot, some joyous celebrations, as well as the readings as we read from the end of the scroll and, of course, begin again, because we never really finish reading the Torah. It just keeps going every year. And now, our readings for today. Our first Torah reader is Tali Milo. Welcome to the Bima.
Thank you.
And our first reading can be found in the Etz Chaim Chumash on page 538. We are in the book of Exodus, beginning at chapter 33, verses 12 to 16. Our first honoree today is Morley Rip. Morley is observing Yurtzeit for his father, Joseph Rip, today, and it's my honor to call you up, Morley. ותגלה ותראה מלכותו עלינו בזמן קרוב, ויחום פליטתנו פליטת עמו בישראל לכנו לחסד לרחמים ולרצון ונאמר אמן. I started at the wrong spot. I apologize. I'm having a human moment. I went to the weekday, but it's Shabbos. Let's try that again. ויעזור ויגן ויושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר אמן. הכל אבו גודל עלינו וכבוד לתורה. יעמוד משה בן יוסף לוי ורבקה. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם. חיים כולכם היום. Morley, are you ready? Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai mevarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. By the way, we are in Exodus chapter 33, verses 12 to 16. If you have the Chumash, the Etz Chaim Chumash, page 538.
Amen. Vayomer Moshe el Adonai re ata meher elai ha'al et ha'am hazeh ve'ata lo horatani et asher tishlach imi ve'ata marta yedaticha v'shem v'gam matzata chen beinai ve'ata himna matzati chen beinecha honieni na hederachecha ve'dacha lema'an emsachen beinecha urhe ki yamecha hagoy hazeh. Vayomar penei yelechu v'hanichoti lach vayomer elav imein panecha holechim al taleinu mizeh uvamei vadai fo ki matzati chen beinecha ani ve'amecha halo belechtecha imanu v'niflinu ani ve'amecha mikol ha'am asher al penei hadama.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koyach, Morley, and Yasher Kochech, Tali, for the beautiful reading. Morley, you're observing the yahrzeit of your father, Joseph Rip. So may his soul have an aliyah in the world to come, in the Olam Haba. And thank you so much for honoring the memory of your father by taking this aliyah on this Shabbat, Chol Hamoed Sukkot. What a beautiful way. Thank you so much for being with us this Shabbat, and hope to see you in person very soon. Stay tuned. We have big announcements coming up.
We do. And I'm so excited. We have Amy Karlinski here in person. It is so nice to see you, Amy. Shabbat Shalom. You lost your kippah on your way. You can take a minute to find it if you like. We can keep talking.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about the parsha if you want, because this is very interesting. Why we read this portion specifically on the Shabbat of Shavuot, of Sukkot. Why I keep saying Shavuot? I don't know. I miss cheesecake, I guess. It's Sukkot. Sukkot. And why we read this? Well, you will see in this text, eventually, if you're patient, the reference of the clouds of glory. these clouds that God sent miraculously to accompany the people of Israel on their journey on the desert between Egypt and the Promised Land. Well, and there is a debate in the Talmud of what the word sukkah actually means. Some rabbis would say that the sukkah mentioned in the Torah is a booth. But some others says, no. Sukkah is a reference to the clouds of glory, that they were actually sheltering the Israelites. Because the word sukkah, and I don't want to say it too much because the bar mitzvah is going to talk about this on Sunday. Right? The word sukkah doesn't mean booth, as many people believe. What does it really mean? Come on Sunday morning. So our bar mitzvah can teach you a little bit of Torah this time. It won't be a rabbi. It will be one of our Bnei Mitzvah boys teaching you a very important lesson about this holiday of Sukkot. But what I want to say, there is a reference of such clouds in this parsha. Okay, Amy. Was my speech long enough?
Yes, I found my.
Very good.
Thank you.
We are going to have a special Aliyah right now, birthday Aliyah on Zoom. Sharon Allentag, here you are. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for celebrating with us. And let's call you up with a birthday melody this morning. Leslie, do you know the birthday call up?
I'm going to study it while you sing it this time, and I'll be ready for next time.
It's very difficult.
It is. It goes to the tune of Happy Birthday.
Yes. Ta'amod, 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 ta'amod. Sara Badov Halevi Veshendel. Lalia Sheinit. And many more. Sharon, your turn.
Okay, I'm ready. Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Leolam. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim. V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Page 539, Exodus 33, verses 17 to 19. Amy, please.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה גם את הדבר הזה אשר דיברת אעשה כי מצאת חן בעיני ואדעך בשם ויאמר הראיני נא את כבודך ויאמר אני אעביר כל טובי על פניך וקראתי בשם אדוני לפניך וחנותי את אשר אחון וריחמתי את אשר ארחם.
Olam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Sharon, we have a special blessing to offer you this Shabbat to celebrate your birthday. Misheverach Avoteinu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Sarah Rivka Rachel ולאה. הוא יברך את שרה ודוב הלוי ושיינדל, שעלתה היום לכבוד המקום, ולכבוד התורה, ולכבוד השבת. ולהודות על כל החסדים אשר גמל לה אלוהים מיום היוולדה עד היום הזה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור אותה ואת כל משפחתה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה וכל מעשה ידיה, עם כל ישראל אחיה, ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Sharon Allen Tuck, who has come from Aliyah with reverence for God and respect for Torah and this Shabbat. Grateful to God for the gift of life which she has enjoyed until this day. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu continue to bless her with length of years, good health, the pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of Maasim Tovim, good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may Sharon's example remind us that people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. And let us all say, Amen. Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov siman tov Yeilanu u'lechol Israel Yeilanu u'lechol Israel Yeilanu u'lechol Israel Yeilanu u'lechol Israel. Mazel Tov, Sharon.
Thank you.
Yasher Kochech, and thank you for celebrating with us. And it's a great thing that you decided to invite God to your birthday. What a great guest, right? So thank you for being here with us. Hopefully very soon in person. Okay? Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach.
Thank you.
And Yasher Kochech to Amy Karlinsky.
Beautiful reading, Amy. Just beautiful. Yasher Koach.
Yeah, she disappears right away from the bima. No chance to wish her Yasher Koyach in front of the camera. Now Marvin is probably, let's say, what do you mean? Don't worry, Marvin. Don't worry. Yasher Kochech, that was a beautiful, beautiful reading. And now we bring back Talimilo she's going to read for us the next reading that is taking, okay.
Also, we have some open aliyot this morning. We do have 4 openings. So if anyone would like to have a virtual aliyah this morning, you can let us know through our chat. Send us in your name in Hebrew, and I would love to call you up this morning. But our next aliyah, the Shlishi aliyah, has been reserved. We have another birthday here.
Yes, and before I forget, it's going to be taken from Exodus chapter 33, verses 20 to 23, page 539. And we are honoring virtually Roberta Cantor, that she's celebrating also her birthday with us. Leslie, want to try the birthday tune?
I'm ready this time.
Okay.
Here we go. Roberta, it's my honor to call you up, and a very happy birthday to you. Tamod, 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 Tamod Rachel bat David Betal, Laliyah Shlishi, and many more. Happy birthday, Roberta, and I hope you're ready for your aliyah. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer lo tuchal lirot et panai, ki lo yir'ani hadam v'chai. Vayomer Adonai hine makom iti, v'nitzavta latzur, ve'aya bavor kevoti v'samticha, benikrat hatzur, v'sakoticha pi alecha dovri, ve'asiroti et kapi, ve'rahita et achorai, ufanai lo yira'u.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Roberta, we have a special blessing for you in this special day. משברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את רחל בת דוד ואתל, שעלתה היום לכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת, ולהודות על כל החסדים אשר גמל לה אלוהים מיום היוולדה עד היום הזה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור אותה ואת כל משפחתה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיה, עם כל ישראל אחיה, ונאמר אמן. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Roberta Cantor, who has come from Aliyah with reverence for God and respect for the Torah. And this Shabbat, grateful to God for the gift of life which she has enjoyed until this day. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu continue to bless her with length of years, good health, the pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of Maasim Tovim, good deeds. In celebrating this, another birthday, may Roberta's example remind us that people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Siman Tov,
Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Israel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Israel. Mazal Tov, and thank you so much for celebrating this special birthday with all of us here at the Shaarey Zedek. Hopefully next time in person. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
So, let's continue with the order of this service. We are moving to the Revi'i, the fourth reading. It's going to be taken from Exodus chapter 34, verses 1 to 3, page 540 of the Etz Chaim Chumash. And Leslie Emery is going to be our Torah reader for the next 3 readings.
And
Do we have honoree?
So far, we don't have any takers, do we, Leslie?
I haven't noticed anybody on the
No.
chat. However, Bill, can
Thank
we
you.
honor you with the Aliyah?
Yes, you can. Thank you very much. In honor of my new jacket.
Beautiful. And your birthday as well. It's been a busy
It
time.
was, yeah. I was 27 years old a week ago.
And Bill Weitzman also, there's all these behind the scenes things that kind of happen here that Bill looks after. The reason our Torahs are ready for Yontif, Bill. The reason our lulavs and our etrogs are ready for Yontif, Bill. So this is a good moment to honor Bill. Thank you for everything
Thank
you
you.
do.
And I was going to remind you that when Rabbi Mas was talking about a different Torah for Saturday morning, regardless of the other Torah, I thought to myself, there are 2 people that are really concerned with that. One is the Torah reader, of course, and the second one is the one who wants to find the Torah reading.
That's right.
That covers both of us.
And it takes time and love. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. What's your name in Hebrew, Bill?
Zev Aryeh ben Michal ve'Edel.
Hamoed, Zev Aryeh ben Michal ve'Edel Aliyah Revi'i.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Borach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe psalecha. Shnei luchot havanim karishonim. וכתבתי על הלוחות את הדברים אשר היו על הלוחות הראשונים אשר שיברת, ויהיה נכון לבוקר. ועלית בבוקר על הר סיני, וניצבת לי שם על ראש ההר. ואיש לא יעלה עמך, וגם איש אל ירע בכל ההר. גם הצאן והבקר אל יראו אל מול ההר ההוא.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
I see Murray Nason is up.
Yeah, now we have 3 Aliyot. But by the way, before we read it, Yasher Koyach Bill
Brachtia.
and Yasher Koyach Leslie. Beautiful reading.
Baruch tieh.
We have Murray Nason, Sandy Polanski, and Howard Haimovich. Are we okay? Yeah,
We're good.
We have 3. Perfect.
It worked out perfectly. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. Murray, it's my honor to call you up this morning. Yamon Moshe ben Yaakov et Tzivya l'Aliyah HaChamishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. ויפסול שני לוחות אבנים כראשונים. וישכם משה בבוקר ויעל אל הר סיני, כאשר ציווה אדוני אותו. ויקח בידו שני לוחות אבנים, וירד אדוני בענן, ויתייצב עמו שם, ויקרא בשם אדוני, ויעבור אדוני על פניו, ויקרא אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון, ופשע וחטא, ונקה לא ינקה, פוקד עוון אבות, על בנים ועל בני בנים, על שלישים ועל רבעים. וימהר משה, ויקוד ארצה וישתחו. ויאמר אם נא מצאתי חן בעיניך אדוני, ילך נא אדוני בקרבנו, כי ים קשה עורף הוא וסלחת לעווננו לחטאתנו נחלתנו. ויאמר הנה אנוכי כורת ברית נגד כל עמך אעשה נפלאות, אשר לא נבראו בכל הארץ ובכל הגויים, ורק כל העם אשר אתה בקרבו, את מעשה אדוני כי נורא הוא, אשר אני עושה עמך.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Shirkoyach. That was Mary, right? For this one?
It was Yasher Koach, Murray, and it's so nice having you here each Shabbos with Sharon. We always look forward to seeing you, and we look forward, hopefully, to seeing you again in person soon.
Yasher Koyach Leslie. We are going to continue now with the Shishi, the 6th Aliyah, page 542, Exodus 34, verses 11 to 17. So the question is, why do we celebrate Sukkot when we celebrate Sukkot? Because it's not like Pesach. Like we celebrate Pesach because it commemorates the exact date when the Israelites left Egypt, or Shavuot is the exact date when the Israelites received the Torah. But Sukkot, well, they live in sukkahs for 40 years. So it's tough to pick one date to do it. Well, again, this is again a connection to the clouds of glory, according to the rabbis, because when the Israelites worshipped the golden calf, part of their punishment was that God removed the clouds of glory. Then came Yom Kippur, after the episode of the golden calf. That was when Moses came back with the second set of tablets, and God forgave the Israelites. And everybody was expecting the clouds of glory to come back, but they didn't. They didn't come back right away. They have to wait a few more days until the Israelites started to build the tabernacle, this portable sanctuary that they have in the desert. And that was the point when actually God not only heard from the people of Israel, yes, we changed. No, that was the time when not only they said that they changed, but they also started to do something to prove to God that they changed. And then, and only then, God fully forgave them and the clouds of glory returned. So basically, Sukkot is the celebration of the time where the clouds of glory return to the Jewish people, because it was a change in behavior, and now they deserved to have that divine shelter. So let's continue. Who is our next honoree?
Well, we have one honoree more than the amount of aliyot that we have, but this is a wonderful thing. It means that our Jewish community is healthy and doing very well. I am going to, it's our custom to give priority for people with yahrzeit, and we have 2 people observing yahrzeit, and I know Sandy is a mensch. So Sandy Polanski, thank you so much for sending us your name, and we're going to call you up next Shabbat. But first, we have 2 yahrzeits to observe. Howard Hamoed, thank you so much for asking an aliyah. And Howard is having this aliyah. Oh, here we go. Yamod Chaim Yitzchak ben Binyamin Belvala Kohen Laliyah Shishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
This is one of those interesting passages of Torah. If you look, there's a giant resh I will be reading in the word acher, but first, from the beginning. Shamar lecha et asher anochi metzavecha hayom, hineni goresh mipanecha, et haemori v'aknani v'achiti v'aprizi v'achivi v'yebusi, hishamer lecha, pen tichrot berit leoshev haaretz asher ata ba'alea, pen yihye lemokesh b'kirbecha, ki et mizbechotam titotzun, vet matzevotam tishaberun, vet asherav tichrotun, ki lo tishtachaven lelacher, ki Adonai kana shemo elkanahu, pen tichrot berit leoshev haaretz, vezanu acharei Elohehem, vezavechu Elohehem, וקרא לך ואכלת מזבחו, ולקחת מבנותיו לבניך, וזנו מבנותיו אחרי אלוהיהן, ויזנו את בניך אחרי אלוהיהם, אלוהי מעשיך לא תעשה לך.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach to Howard. Thank you for asking for an aliyah. And I just got further down the chat. I see Sandy is a mensch. Before I said it out loud, Sandy said, I'm going to give my aliyah to Dolly. So Sandy, thank you so much for being kind and being here and part of our community and making sure your husband gets here every Shabbos so we can do what we do and bring it out into the world for everybody. And our next honoree is Dolly.
Wait. The big Reish.
The big Reish. Are we going to tell them what it is? Or is it a sneak peek into Simchat Torah?
Good point. Good point.
Should we leave you with a cliffhanger? I don't know.
We have a big Reish in this parsha. And actually, Leslie is going to explain what it is during the Simchat Torah stream. So we are not going to say it now. Let's give them just a little hint.
Just a
It
little
is connected to the big Dalet of the Shema Israel. If you read the Shema Israel, it says Adonai Echad, and it has a big Dalet, and this Acher has a big Reish. How are they connected? You have to tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Let's continue with the next reading, which is the Shevi'i. We have a change of guard. It's Cindy Singer is going to be our Torah reader. Page 543, Exodus chapter 34, verses 18 to 26. Yesher Kochech Leslie for your readings.
Baruch Tieh.
And we are ready to call up the next honoree.
Absolutely. Dolly is having this aliyah in memory of her father, Samuel Schrag. Tamod Penina Bat Shmuel Laliyah Shvi'i Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Et Hag Hamatzot Tishmor Shivat Yamim Tochel Matzot Asher Tziviticha Lemoed Chodesh Ha'aviv Ki Bechodesh Ha'aviv Yatzata Mimitzrayim Kol Peterechem Li V'chol Miknecha Titzachar Peter Shorvaseh Ufeter Chamor Tifdei Vaseh V'im lo Tifdei V'arafto Kol Bechor Banecha Tifdei V'lo Yera'u Fanai Rekam Sheshet Yamim Ta'avod Uvayom Chashvi'i Tishbot Becharish Uvekatzir Tishbot Behag Shavuot Ta'aseh Lecha Bikurei Ketzir Chitim Behag Ha'asif Tekufot Hashana Shalosh Pe'amim Bashana Yera'e Kol Zechurcha Et Panei Adon Adonai Elohei Yisrael Kol Orish Goim Mipanecha V'chirchavti Et Gevulecha V'lo Yachmod Ish Et Artzecha Be'alotecha Le'reot Et Panei Adonai Elohecha Shalosh Pe'amim Bashana Lo Tishchat Al Hamoed Dam Sivhi V'lo Yalon Levoker Zechav HaKapasa Reshit Bikurei Admatecha Tevi'i Beit Adonai Elohecha Lo Tevasel Gedi Bechol Levimo
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher natan lanu Torat emet V'chayei olam nata betochenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach Dolly, and may your father's memory be for a blessing.
Amen.
And also Yasher Koach to Cindy Singer, a beautiful, beautiful reading.
Wonderful.
So-
Absolutely.
So nice to have you here this morning, Cindy. And it's so nice when people come in regularly and you can kind of watch them get more comfortable. No, she's shaking her head at me. I thought she sounded great this morning, really. And you'll see there's some action going on by the reader's table here. We are getting ready. It is a 2-scroll morning. And so in a moment,
We are going to change the scroll because the maftir is read. It's going to be read from the book of Numbers, chapter 29, verses 23 to 28. But Cindy Singer is going to be our Torah reader once again. She prepared actually 2 different readings from 2 different books. And yeah, this is sometimes I'm wondering what happened with small synagogues that only have 1 scroll, right? When they have to do something like this.
You just wait, Rabbi. Just keep waiting.
They probably can have a little concert in between
That's right.
to give time to roll from one side to another. So we are so blessed here at the Shaarey Zedek that we have multiple scrolls. They were donated for many, many years. The Shaarey Zedek it's over a century old. So we can pre-set all the scrolls so the reading is there. We don't have to actually waste time in between the readings.
Rabbi, I have a question for you.
Yes.
In this last reading, was I hearing it correctly that Shavuot was mentioned?
Yep, absolutely. It's interesting. Sometimes for the Chagim, and this reading was kind of coming back to me as Cindy was reading it. I must have learned it for another Chag, another year.
Yeah.
However, we go through sometimes for Chag the readings about the Chagim, including Shavuot or Chag HaMatzot is how the reading began. And so
Yeah.
we remember all of the Chagim.
And it's interesting, again, that Pesach is referred to as Chag HaMatzot,
Hamatzot.
which, by the way, is not the same of Pesach. Whenever we say Pesach, Chag HaPesach, all what we are talking about is the sacrifice of the Paschal lamb. That's it. That's all what it was. Everything else that we do corresponds to Chag HaMatzot. But back in the day of the temple, there were 2 separate festivals. Now we use it as synonyms. Chag HaMatzot, Chag HaPesach seems to be the same. They were not. And this parsha is a living proof of that. Okay, ready to...
Yes, the only
lift?
thing I was going to say, Rabbi, is now I understand why you're mixing Shavuot and Sukkot up, because it's mentioned in the Torah.
No,
That's why.
Yeah. But as I say, Shavuot is not really connected to Sukkot, but to Shmini Atzeret. There is a big connection between the 2. But I don't know. I keep messing up.
You're not messing up.
You're reminding us there are more Chagim on the way.
That's right. The Torah says that.
And now you're invited to rise as the first scroll is lifted. Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Ki mitzion tetzet Torah udvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzet Torah udvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. B'kedushato.
You may be seated. I was thinking about this, messing up Shavuot with Sukkot. It reminds me to this Nusach teacher that I have at the seminary, that he kept calling me Antonio. I told him 1,000 times that he's Hannibal. And then the next day he would keep calling me Antonio. And then that was a joke within the class. Some of my classmates used to call me Antonio as well because of this teacher. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for letting us know.
It was funny. It was very funny. Yeah. Okay. We have, as I mentioned, Cindy Singer is going to be reading for us, and Leslie Emery is going to be honored with a Maftir Aliyah. That means that she's going to read the Haftorah in a few more minutes. So Leslie, let me call you up. Hamoed Shoshana Batli Amalka Maftirach Hiskihi.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Uvayom haravi parim Esraelim shanaim kevasim b'nei shana arba'a ashar temimim min hatam v'nizkechem leparim le'elim velakvasim b'mishparam kemishpat useir echad
Useir
izim echad hatat milvad olad hatamid min chata v'nizka uvayom hachamishi perim tisha elim shanayim kevasim b'nei shana arba'a asar temimin umin hatam v'nizkechem leparim le'elim velakvasim b'mishparam kamishpat useir chatat echad milvad olad hatamid umin chata v'nizka.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach Cindy.
Yasher
Beautiful
Koach,
readings.
Cindy.
You probably don't know this, but I think people should know this about Sukkot. If you would like to get really comfortable reading Torah, the readings that Cindy just read have a formula to them. And it actually follows that formula, the readings, through most of the Chag. That is the format of the reading. So if you want to try, and maybe you're the kind of person that gets nervous every once in a while, you have time to get unnervous as you go through the readings. They're so similar. You can learn 3 quite easily for the mornings. And now, what do we do now, Rabbi?
I'm going to ask you whether you wanted to do Hagbah, since this is
Oh.
the Torah
Now
that
we
you-
have another Magvia
We do.
and Golel. And then
Did you?
you're going to read the Haftorah.
Did you want to?
Sounds good. Bill just reminded me that scroll I call the friendly little scroll. I read from it all the time, and I really like it. So if you don't mind, I'll do Hagbah.
Not at all.
And one day Tali might too.
וזאת התורה אשר
שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים. כי מציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
Leslie, you qualify now as a professional Hagbah lifter.
The Bill Weissman seal of approval.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you may be seated. We're going to be reading from the special Haftarah for Shabbat Hamoed Sukkot. page 1260 of the Etz Chaim Chumash, or if you have a different Chumash, different Bible, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 18, and it will go all the way to chapter 39, verse 16. And Leslie Emery is going to be our Haftorah reader.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uveMoshe avdo uveYisrael amo v'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. V'haya bayom hahu ve'yom bogog al admat Yisrael neum Adonai Elohim talech hamati be'api uvekinati ve'shevrati dibarti im lo bayom ahu yerash gadol ad admat Yisrael verashu mipanai degei hayam ve'of hashamayim ve'chayat hasadeh ve'kol haremes haromes al adama ve'chol adam asher al pnei ha'adama ve'nehersu heharim ve'naflu hamadregot ve'kol choma la'aretz tipol ve'karati alav lekol harai cherev neum Adonai Elohim cherev ish be'achiv tihyeh ve'nishpati ito bedever uvedam ve'geshem shotev ve'avnei el gavish esh ve'gofrit amtir alav al agapav ve'alamim rabim asher ito ve'hitgadilti ve'hitkadishti ve'nodati le'nei goyim rabim ve'yadehu ki ani Adonai ve'ata ben adam hina ve'el gog ve'amarta ko amar Adonai Elohim hineni elecha gog nasi rosh meshech ve'tuval ve'shovaveticha ve'shisheticha ve'haliticha mi'arketei tzafon ve'havioticha al harei Yisrael ve'hiketi kashtecha mi'ad smolecha ve'chitzecha mi'ad yeminecha pil al harei Yisrael תיפול. אתה וכל אגפיך לעמים אשר איתך, לעת ציפור כל כנף, לחיית השדה נתתיך לאוכלה, על פני השדה תיפול, כי אני דיברתי נאום אדוני אלוהים, ושילחתי אש במגוג, ויושבי חיים לבטח, וידעו כי אני אדוני, ואת שם קודשי יודיע, בתוך עמי ישראל, ולא אכל את שם קודשי עוד, וידעו הגויים, כי אני אדוני קדוש בישראל. הנה בא ונחית נאום אדוני אלוהים, הוא היום אשר דיברתי, ויצאו יושבי ערי ישראל, וביערו והסיקו בנשק ומגן וצינה, בקשת ובחיצים, ובמקל יד וברומח, וירו בהם 7 שנים, ולא יישאו עצים מן השדה, ולא יכתבו מן היערים, כי בנשק יבערו אש, ושללו את שולליהם, ובזזו את בוזזיהם, נאום אדוני אלוהים. והיה ביום ההוא אתן לגוג מקום שם קבר בישראל, כעוברים קדמת הים, וחוסמת היא את העוברים, וקברו שם את גוג ואת כל עמונו, וקראו כהמון גוג, וקברום בית ישראל, למען טהר את הארץ 7 חודשים, וקברו כל עם הארץ, והיה להם לשם יום הקבדי, נאום אדוני אלוהים. ואנשי תמיד יבדילו עוברים בארץ, מקברים את העוברים, את הנותרים על פני הארץ לטהרה, מקצה 7 חודשים יחקרו, ועברו העוברים בארץ, וראה עצם אדם, ובנה אצלו ציון, עד קברו אותו המקברים, אל גיא המון גוג, וגם שמיר המונה, וטיהרו הארץ. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, Ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם. כי המלך נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
האל הנאמן בכל דבריו.
אמן.
רחם על ציון כי בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
משמח ציון בבניה.
אמן. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסאו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני. ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
מגן דוד.
Amen.
על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים, ועל יום השבת הזה ועל יום חג הסוכות הזה, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לששון ולשמחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
מקדש השבת בישראל והזמנים.
Amen.
Yasher
Yasher Kochek, Leslie.
Baruch tiyeh.
Beautiful Haftorah.
Thank you so much.
And I like the words of Jerome. He said, only you can make Kohelet sound peaceful. Sorry to disappoint, Jerome. It's not Kohelet. It's Ezekiel.
But
It
we
could
know
be
what he
Kohelet.
meant.
You will probably make it sound peaceful as well. Right?
I don't know. I'd have to try. I never really thought about it.
Yeah, I've never read it with. It probably has special trope, which I never learned.
You're on. You want me to learn them? I find trope fascinating. I don't know if you can tell with how I read or when I study. I love how the different melodies match the different texts and help to bring to light the meaning of what you read. How the grammar is enclosed and expressed with the different trope sounds, and how you can tell something big is happening when there's a big, many notes, important trope coming up. I think trope is beautiful, so
It is. It is indeed.
I do enjoy studying it and learning the different texts, and I hope you enjoy hearing them. And if anyone wants to learn, you know how to find me, Leslie, Leslie, at szwinnipeg.ca.
Shelley Chachanoff made a wonderful comment a few minutes ago by saying, this morning we're blessed with wonderful Torah readers. And she couldn't be more right.
We are. Our congregation, we're very, very fortunate to have such wonderful, wonderful supportive members and Torah readers and Haftorah readers among us. It's a part of what makes us special, you know?
But we could use more, couldn't we?
Always, always. And now I've finished the Haftorah, so that means there's another part of the service coming up. What?
Yeah, we have holidays and Misha Beirach.
You're right, we do.
Holidays? I say holiday? Announcements.
Announcements.
Announcements on Misha Beirach.
Rabbi, are you up for the announcements this
No.
morning? You aren't? Okay, here we go.
You read the announcements.
Here we go.
I do the sermon.
Okay, you've got a deal. Minyan services, twice a day, every day. We are here for you at Congregation Chair Zedek. You can find us tonight at 6 p.m. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We have a bar mitzvah. We are so happy to celebrate. And Sukkot. If you want to experience what Sukkot at least looks like or participate from home, tune in and take a look. Sukkot is very cool. Services tomorrow morning, again, 9 a.m. and tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. And then we are back to our weekday rhythm. Monday to Friday morning, 7:30 a.m., and in the evenings at 6 p.m. except Friday, 5:30 p.m. for Kabbalat Shabbat. As you heard us discussing this morning, there are a lot of chagim this time of the year, and we are not done yet. Our Simchat Torah celebration will take place Tuesday, September 28th at 7 p.m. CDT, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and our website. You can celebrate the Chag with our team here at the Shaarey Zedek and also have a close-up look at key parts of the scroll, including that passage that we chanted today.
Absolutely. One day you should try to do the announcement with trope, right?
You know what? One day I'd like to do the English,
No,
like the first verse of the
registration
English.
is required.
It's true, yeah, but which trope fits the announcements best? Are they somber, like a Haftorah? Are they more peppy?
Sisterhood Book Club, Monday, October 4th.
I knew you wanted to do the
As
announcements.
long as you don't do them to Echa. As long as you don't do them to Echa trope, it's fine.
If you're wondering if you're allowed to have fun at Chol, you are. We do have a lot of fun here, and I'm very fortunate to work with such wonderful people. Our Tikkun Olam efforts are expanding. We have a number of bins here downstairs for Winnipeg Harvest, JCFS, Coats for Kids, and One Just City, as well as B'nai B'rith Canada. If you're curious about which items we are looking for, you can take a look on our website, szwinnipeg.ca/give. If you're trying to figure out how to do something, you can call your friends, see if somebody can wrestle up some coats for you to pick up and do a big drop-off over here at the shul. We love getting your items to where they're needed the most. Torah L'Chaim.
It's canceled this week.
It is
Because it's
canceled this
Truth-
week.
Truth and Reconciliation Day.
It is, yes,
And
of
we
course.
decided to close the office so there are no activities at the Shaarey Zedek, so everybody could have the opportunity to make the day a meaningful day.
Of course, as it should be a meaningful day. We will be here for Minyan still. Minyan is always on a rhythm and happening, but Torah L'Chaim is on hiatus for 1 week only. And then Rabbi Anibal will be back Thursdays at noon. Sisterhood Book Club is beginning on October the 4th, 2 p.m. over Zoom. The September book is A Backpack, a Bear, and 8 Crates of Vodka, a memoir by Lev Golinkin. Dr. Bonnie Cham and I were discussing the book the other day. Now I really want to read it. It sounds like a fascinating read. It is led by Rhonda Ewell, and it is a story of two intertwined journeys, a Jewish refugee family fleeing persecution and a young man seeking to reclaim his shattered past. This memoir promises you a thrilling, loving tale of survival told through the eyes of a Jewish boy as he becomes an adult. For more information, you can take a look at szwinnipeg.ca/sisterhood or email sisterhood@szwinnipeg.ca. You must be a Sisterhood member to attend, but if you want to learn more or figure out how to join up, you can take a look on our website. We have even more. There's a page 2. The gift shop is back in action, and you can find us at 204-975-3487, and we can set up appointments for people to come in and take a look at our Judaica collection and see what you'd like to purchase. Also, we have Shmini Atzeret this week with Yizkor as well. All of our services have the weekday ones follow our weekday rhythm now in order to be as inclusive as possible of our Minyan Chavurah. And so if you would like to join us for Shmini Atzeret, the service is at 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday. And Yizkor will be recited at about 9 o'clock, Rabbi, right?
Yes.
All right. We are still in need of volunteer pallbearers to assist families in emergency situations. If you're able to help out or you know someone who can, please contact Estelle Raber in our office. And now, a Misha Berach prayer, a prayer for healing. If you do know someone in need of healing, please send in their name at this time through our chat, and we'll include it in our prayer. On our list today, we have Chaya Zahava bat Leah, Eliyahu Lev ben Rivka, Atra bat Etel, Shmuel Le ben Gittel, Dana Brinley, Janice Diner bat Batsheva, Leah bat Rachel, Devorah Gittel bat Leah, Binyamin Pinchas ben Devorah Gittel, Nachum Leib ben Leah, Leah Sarah bat Zlata, Yaakov Mordechai ben Miriam Tova, Carmel bat Iris, Linda bat Lorraine, Ariel Neshama bat Sarah, David Tzvi ben Sarah Pessel, Dina Rachel bat Sarah Esther, Yitzchak Chaim ben Sarah, Tova Yael bat Dina Rachel, Shira Naomi bat Dina Rachel, Eliezer Meyer ben Tova Yael, Katriel Yosef ben Tova Yael, Israel Chaim ben Shira Naomi, Dave Scammell, Isabella bat Sarah, Yitzchak Dov ben Bela, Moshe Aharon ben Leah, Miriam Rachel bat Leah, Basha Pesha bat Zisla, Hani Kane, April bat Pamela, Chazan Shefer ben Miriam, Harav Avraham Yehoshua Heschel ben Ruth, Gavriel ben Etel Gita, Eliakim Pesach ben Esther Pessi, Shmuel ben Zina, Shane Johnson, Malka Feiga bat Shandel, Kedma bat Sarah, Shoshana Miriam bat Kedma, Howard Kizel, Cheryl May, Moishe ben Golda, Chaim Arka ben Sipora Menora, Rochelle bat Sonia, Alfie Glass, Beryl ben Devora, Esther Bela bat Sarah, Georgina Tassara, Meyer Leib ben Nurit, Sipora bat Rachel, Leah bat Adele, Colin Rich, Rivka Sora bat Leah Malka, Maureen Rich, Chaim Osher ben Chaim Malka, Adrian McDonald, Meyer David ben Machlea, Jan bat Jean, and Michelle Seip.
We also have Mordechai ben Hadassah, Neil Roy and Leanna McLeod, Herbert Singer, Carla bat Nancy, Andres ben Gloria, Timmy bat Rachel, Chaya bat Sarah Malka, bat Sarah Malka, bat Yakova, Isabella bat Sarah, Chana bat Chaya, Etel, and Sam's List.
Let's join together in a prayer for healing, a Misha Berach prayer. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Neimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing, with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. Please rise to return the Torah scroll to the ark.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, Ki nizkav Shemo levado. Hado al eretz b'shamayim v'yarem keren le'amot. Tehila, tehila lecho chasidav, livnei Yisrael am kerobo. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Etz chaimi lamachazikim ba etom cheya meushar neracheha darchei noam lechol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva. Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu kekedem.
You may be seated.
And now, the moment we've been waiting for.
Kiddush.
Rabbi, I knew you were going to say Kiddush.
What else would people be waiting for?
Rabbi
at this
Anibal's
time?
Kiddush joke. Or he may have another joke as well. You never know with this rabbi. And also his Dvar Torah for the morning. Yasher Koach, Rabbi, on a beautiful service. Thank you so much for guiding us through this morning so nicely.
Thank you, Leslie, for your beautiful singing and Torah reading. You were busy today.
It's a busy time of year.
Yeah, you covered all the bases. Except the piano, maybe.
Maybe one day.
One day. Oh, and the Zoom Aliyot.
I've done that before.
Yeah, you did.
I
Yeah,
did, yeah.
actually. Yes,
Here, to be a chair Zedek, you have to be willing to help out where you're needed.
absolutely. I've noticed that you have to be multi-talented. Otherwise,
Or at least willing to try.
yes. Or to learn, of course. Okay. So I heard about this couple that they were celebrating their 60th. Actually, wrong. They were actually 60 years old, the two of them. They were celebrating now this wedding anniversary. And so God sent an angel to them. And the angel said, God is so impressed with you. You are so faithful to God, that God would like to grant each one of you a wish to make you truly and absolutely happy. So what do you want from God? So the woman says, well, I would like to travel with my husband all around the world. Poof! There was lots of smoke around. And when the smoke cleared, she had all these tickets on her hand to travel all around the world. And then it was time for the husband. And he said, well, I would like to be married to a woman 30 years younger. Poof, smoke. And when the smoke cleared, he was 90 years old. I want to talk to you today about lasting joy. Lasting joy. You see, this is amazing because sometimes we don't really know what lasting joy is. We have so many misconceptions in these days. And this is something that it was very evident during the pandemic when many people were stuck at home. Technically, yeah, we have so many means of entertainment for all of us. From cell phone, computers, games, you name it. And yet, people were sad, people were depressed, people were anxious. Because all these things, they didn't really bring any joy. Maybe it was a little bit of entertainment, but it was so short-lasting that it doesn't really count. And I guess we realize what really and truly make us really joyous and happy in life. And I believe this kind of artificial entertainment, it works for a little bit, but then it doesn't work anymore. But now that we are celebrating Sukkot, the topic of joy and happiness is very present in this celebration. In fact, one of the names of Sukkot is Zman Simchateinu, the time of our joy. One of the other names of the festival is Chag, which means festival, but in the festival with capital T and capital F. And also at the end of Sukkot, after Sukkot ends, we have the next day, Simchat Torah. The joy, the happiness of the Torah. So the concept of joy, the concept of happiness is amazingly present in the festival of Sukkot. And what do we do in Sukkot that deserve to have this label, deserve to have the label of it, the festival and the time of our joy or happiness? Because if you think about it, it's very, very strange. We go to a sukkah, there's next to nothing. It's a fragile booth. And sometimes there is not even artificial light in there. Yeah, we decorate the sukkah, of course, but it's very simple. So how can the sukkah bring you any joy? How can the sukkah bring you any happiness? Well, of course, the sukkah itself cannot bring you any joy or any happiness, but what's happening inside the sukkah is what is so special about this holiday. Because let's think about it this way. When you come with your friends, with your family inside the sukkah, and you don't have any kind of artificial entertainment, what do you have? Well, you have each other's company. And that concept, that moment of each other's company is what is called the Zman Simchateinu. That is what it can bring us real joy, real happiness. That is the power behind strong relationships, when we find meaningful times with our friends, with our families, that actually can bring joy, but it's a different kind of joy. It's just a long-lasting joy because it also comes with a sense of fulfillment. And it's interesting because Sukkot, as I mentioned, it is the festival of the joy and the happiness. But there is another name for Chag HaSukkot, and it's Chag HaAsif, the festival of the ingathering. And what is this? The ingathering was because it's also during the time of the harvest. This is the end of the harvest season. And there were all the sheaves and all the bundles with grain that they were left all over the fields. And it was the last attempt of all the farmers to bring all that together before the harvest season is formally over. But it's also, it's amazing how these two concepts overlap. The ingathering, the getting all together with the name of Sukkot that makes reference to the joy. But as I mentioned before during the service, how can we reconcile all this joy and being all together with the reading of Kohelet during Sukkot? The Ecclesiastes. Have you ever read Ecclesiastes? It's the most depressing book ever. And the tradition is to read it during Sukkot. In fact, the Midrash said that King Solomon, which in theory is the author of the book of Kohelet, used to read this text in public during the festival of Sukkot to teach everybody that was present there. But there is something very interesting about Sukkot. I don't know how many of you know this, that at Sukkot we sacrifice 70 bulls, which is an insane amount of animals. No other festival we have this amount of animals sacrificed during the festival. Why do we need to sacrifice that many animals? Because Sukkot was something that we celebrate not only among Jews, but actually everybody was invited to join the Jewish people in the celebration of Sukkot. They have mandatories from all other nations that they will come to Jerusalem, and they actually will have an opportunity to participate on these rituals at the temple. So these 70 bulls that we sacrificed back then were not only to celebrate Jews, but also to celebrate all the nations of the world. So there is no more interfaith, if you want, festival in the Jewish calendar than Sukkot, when we recognize the importance of the Jewish people, but also we recognize the importance of every nation of the world, and we sacrifice on their behalf to God. So now you have to imagine, in Jerusalem, during Sukkot, lots of Jews, but also lots of non-Jews. And King Solomon decides to read Kohelet to non-Jews. Couldn't he find any more uplifting book? He had one chance a year. Listen to this. One chance a year to make an impact on somebody that is not Jewish. One chance. And he reads Kohelet. Let me read a little bit what it says at the beginning. It's amazing. Kohelet, it starts by saying, pointless, says Kohelet, King Solomon. Totally meaningless. It's all pointless. What real value is there in all the labor under the sun? One chance a year. And this is what King Solomon tells everybody in Jerusalem. But actually, the rabbis say that it makes total sense. Because sometimes when we have the opportunity, or when they have the opportunity to be together, Jews and non-Jews, and then we reflect on what separates us. Why is that sometimes we have so much trouble to coexist, to live together? Why we keep making boundaries? Well, says King Solomon here to everybody, said, hey, listen to me for a minute, now that I have you all together. The way we are living our lives is pointless. We are putting our emphasis in the wrong places. We have our priorities upside down. we keep focusing too much on this material world. Everybody gets worried about their own little thing. And then at the end of the day, sometimes we don't even talk to each other. So listen to me for a minute. Everything that we do, the way we treat each other, it's all pointless. We are not going to go anywhere with that kind of attitude. And even if you think that you are doing great, you're not. Because everything we do has a consequence. And it's interesting the way he said it, because he said, everything is pointless under the sun. Why will he say under the sun? And the explanation is under the sun represents this world. But perhaps if we can work together on things that are above the sun, in the sense that we can add spirituality and values to the world, that is not pointless. That is all the opposite. And if we can do it together, it's even better. That's why Solomon has one chance to make an impact. And if he could convince Jews and non-Jews to work together in things that they are meaningful and transcendental, then perhaps we have an opportunity to keep that spirit of unity beyond Sukkot. And this is a beautiful message that we learn in this festival of the joy, but also festival of the ingathering, when we have the opportunity to be all together. So, my question for all of you is, if you can do one thing in this coming year to be more welcoming, to be nicer to other people, to be a better version of yourself, what would that be? And perhaps the answer is in the festival of Sukkot. You should start with analyzing our priorities and realizing that maybe we are putting our priorities in the wrong places instead of putting it into places and things that actually can bring meaning to your life, and they can have a long-lasting impact. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom. Yasher Koach, Rabbi. Wonderful
Yasher
message.
koach.
Ratehi.
Beautiful teaching. Many beautiful teachings all rolled together. You know, and it's so important to stay in the present, to be aware, to see where our priorities are, to pay attention to how we impact each other in the world. This is a big part of being Jewish, is this awareness and attempting always to strive to keep being a little better. Rabbi is back at the piano, and we are ready for Aleinu. The ark is open, and you're invited to rise. We're on page 44. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, atet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומונים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו וגם הם מרומים הוא אלוהינו אינו מלכנו אפסולתו ככתוב בתורתו מעדת היום והשבות אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים והשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת עינון ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא We extend our condolences to the family of Tzvia Pinkovich. This week, we commemorate the yahrzeit of Joseph Rip, father of Morley Rip, David Cyril Silverman, brother of Karen Leipzig, Arlene Gladstone, sister of David Meyerowitz, Edwin Cohen, brother of Lawrence Cohen, Samuel Schrag, father of Dolly Cohen, Albert Zaidman, uncle of Shelley Chochinov, Paul Zaidman, Ellen Zaidman, and Harriet Zaidman. Zelda Pinkovich, mother-in-law of Rochelle Pinkovich and grandmother of Leon and Miriam. Brian Brooker, brother of Gary Brooker. Harold Smorden, father of Jill Steer. Corinne Greenberg, mother of Brenda Tenenbain and Sandra Gordon. And Bluma Estrecker, the child we honor and remember through one more candle. This past week, we honor the memory and mourn the passing of Judith Rebecca Putter, Archibald Honigman, Asher ben Shmuel ve'etachaya, and Alvin Wexler. On the 19th of Tishrei, we observe the yahrzeits of Mashka Berenhout, Mashka bat Akiva ve'Mindel, Gertrude Cham, Gisa bat Rev Shimon, Florence Gunn, Feigl bat Yehoshua, Esther Leah Held, Chana Esther bat Isser Halevi v'Chana, Bessie Lichter, Basia bat Leib v'Chana, Eva Minarski, Chava bat Yechiel ve'Esther, Meyer Nelson, Reuven Meyer ben Moshe Zachariah, Etta Portugal, Gerald Leon Rabinovich, Yosef Leib ben Mendel, Gloria Ann Rabinovich, Golda Chaya bat Yehuda Aryeh, and Sarah Wolk, Sarah bat Leon, all of blessed memory. We turn to page 46 for the Mourners Kaddish. Mourners, those observing yahrzeit, as well as those who wish to join me in saying Kaddish for someone who has none to say Kaddish for them. Let's read the Kaddish together. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yerutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'vyomechon v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehi shlam araba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Well, we reached the end of the service. You may be seated. Thank you so much, Leslie, for your contributions.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much, Rabbi Anibal.
Thank you. Tali, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Singing, reading Torah. Very good.
It's the multitasking you were talking about.
Multitasking, very good. You see, you're learning to multitask. What is more difficult, like multitasking, here or next door?
Different parts of your brain, for sure.
A big thank you to our Torah readers today, Cindy Singer, as well as Amy Karlinsky. Thank you so much for studying the readings and coming in to read for us all today. Big thank you to Bill Weissman and Marvin Polanski.
Of course.
Thank you all so much. And a big thank you to everyone for coming here, celebrating Sukkot, and joining us for Shabbat. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much for choosing Shaarey Zedek as your spiritual home. And let's finish singing together the Adon Olam. Ready?
I think so.
Page?
Page 47. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et natzah b'chefto kol azay melech shemo nikra ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה וחפצה כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. והוא אחד, ואין שני, להמשילו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז שהמשרה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נעשה וחפצה כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. והוא אלי, וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי, ועת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ויום אקרא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נעשה וחפצה כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. בידו, הפקיד רוחי, ותישן, והעירה, והיא רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא. לעת נעשה וחפצה כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, and thank you everyone. Hope to see you soon.